I think to my mind, the two biggest things here are, number one, what we think it means that we're seeing movement and what that sounds like to you. What are you hearing? What are you seeing from talking to your sources around the league?
Yeah, I think what's interesting is that the league put out a statement at midnight after this news broke on Tuesday afternoon. So it was like midnight, like early Wednesday morning, if we're talking technically. And it sounded a little bit combative, not as combative as the PA has sounded throughout this entire process. But I was sort of surprised as to how combative it sounded. But then after having certain discussions and reading some other work from others that are working on this storyline, it became clear to me that the tones are changing and that the tension just comes from the lack of time that both sides have to do this.
Well, so let's talk about that, right? Because it was fascinating to me. So I wrote over at Basketball Wednesday at the 9 Sports, and you should check it out. I'm sure it's in the show notes as well. The question I had for folks around the league, I spoke to about a dozen people on both sides. What is the real deadline? And this came from, and I was able to report, the players were told that ESPN has about 2 weeks until they're looking to reconfigure their broadcast windows. And essentially nobody believes that's a real deadline. That would have placed it around March 1st. But ESPN, and we saw that this week, they're actually rededicating their Sunday nights to women's sports. Well, WNBA is going to be a big part of that. By no means the only part, but a big part of that. So they're not looking to walk away. The WNBA's ratings are indicating that ESPN can't really walk away. So if that's not a deadline, what is? How do you do it? Things like the expansion draft, Golden State Valkyries had 7 days to review the lists they received before they drafted. I said to somebody, if you cut that down to 2 days, what are Portland and Toronto going to do? They're going to be mad about it. There's no recourse. Everything could get compressed. You could even see a scenario. I had a couple of GMs tell me, we're preparing as if free agency and the collegiate draft are going to happen at the same time. Expansion draft has to go first. That was pretty universal. But again, I had multiple GMs tell me we could do this all in 3 weeks if we have to. Nobody wants to.
But it's possible.
Nobody wants to, but it's possible. And so that's just interesting to me as we relate to the deadline.
I do want to make something clear, because there's more of a willingness right now for the Players Association to discuss concessions that they've made. And for the longest time, members of the Players Association were very hesitant or shy to discuss any concessions while the league hasn't been.
So bottom line here, it sounds like you're here in progress. Would that be fair to say?
I think so. Just, maybe publicly there isn't a willingness to be a bit calmer about things, but there's more movement than we've had. So.
And about time. So good to see, because time is of the essence, even though they can apparently get it all done in 3 weeks.